communication and negotiation. Today we are thrilled to take on you a fascinating journey to explore the nuances of negotiation practices, communication style, and culture dynamic within Japan as a country that expertly blends tradition with innovation. Japan well known for their rich cultural heritage and forward-thinking business environment. Japan's influence in international trade and commerce is substantial. As one of the world's largest economy and a hub for technology and manufacturing, by understanding Japan's communicating and negotiation style is crucial for anyone to engage in international business. But why did we choose Japan for our exploration? In today's globalized economy, Japan stands as a beacon of innovation and tradition coexisting harmoniously. Their unique blend of age-old custom and cutting-edge technology offer invaluable lessons for business around the world. From the meticulous art of the tea ceremony to the relentless pursuit of perfection in manufacturing, Japanese culture emphasizes respect, harmony, and excellence. This value permeates every facet of business dealing and make it essential for international professionals to grasp the subtle nuances that can influence negotiation and partnership. To further understand this dynamic, Offset Culture Dimension has provided a framework for comparing and contrasting different cultures. Japan, for instance, scores very high on uncertainty avoidance, that reflecting a strong preference for structured environment and clear rules. This is evident in their true preparation and risk aversion in business negotiation. In this video, we will dive into several key aspects of cross-cultural negotiation with Japan, featuring insightful tips and processes, typical bargaining behavior, unique decision-making style, communication norms, and effective conflict management strategy. Join me as we explore this topic with our panel.
You know what? Japan has a unique style in negotiation. So first, focusing on cultural nuances, effective strategies, and a practical role-play example to illustrate these concepts. Understanding Japanese negotiation culture, negotiating in Japan is quite different from many Western approaches. Here are some key points to keep in mind. Okay, so first, build relationships first. Establishing trust and rapport is crucial before diving into negotiations. Spend time getting to know your Japanese counterpart through informal meetings or social gathering known as nomikai. Respect hierarchy and group. Next is consensus. Decisions are often made collectively rather by individuals, and also be prepared to engage with multiple stakeholders and respect the hierarchical structure within Japanese companies. The third point is communication nuances. Japanese communication tends to be indirect. A yes may simply mean I understand, not necessarily agreement. Pay attention to body language and subtle cues. So the next part is patience is key. The decision-making process can be slow, so avoid pushing for quick answers. Allow time for discussions and consensus building. So the last key point is the importance of face, which is mensu. Avoid putting your counterpart in an uncomfortable situation or causing them to lose face, as this can damage relationships. For effective negotiation strategies, to navigate negotiations successfully in Japan, consider these following strategies. First, prepare thoroughly. Research your counterparts in companies and culture. Prepare materials that clearly outline your proposals while allowing room for discussion. Next, use silence wisely. Silence can be a sign of contemplation rather than discomfort. Resist the urge to fill pauses with unnecessary talk. So next, be flexible outside meetings. Discuss potential adjustment or concession informally outside the negotiation room, as this can lead to more open dialogue. Lastly, focus on win-win outcomes. Aim for a solution that benefits both parties, ensuring that your counterpart feels they have gained something from the negotiation. Negotiating in Japan is a distinctive experience shaped by cultural values that prioritize harmony, respect, and collective decision making. The emphasis on indirect communication and relationship building creates a unique negotiation atmosphere that differs significantly from more direct approaches commonly found in the Western cultures. Understanding these nuances, such as the importance of patience, the role of nonverbal cues, and the concept of nemawashi, is crucial for anyone looking to engage successfully with Japanese counterparts. By approaching negotiation with cultural sensitivity and a commitment to building a long-term relationships, you can enhance your effectiveness and foster mutually beneficial partnerships.
In Japan, bargaining isn't just about making a deal. It's about building a relationship with others, and also the Japanese people tend to avoid making a direct blunt with other people.
They didn't say no outright. They might use softer phrases like they could say something, oh, that could be difficult, because this will help them maintain a harmony and a respect in the conversation. So instead of focusing on the immediate outcome, they focus on a long-term collaboration. This way, the focus on harmony can drive a lot of the way they approach negotiation.
Wow, that's interesting. So how does this culture approach influence the way Japanese manage to handle conflicts?
Oh, that's such a great question, Mr. Arman. You know what? When it comes to conflict in Japan, the Japanese people will tend to avoid of being a confrontation because they wanted to make the environment and atmosphere very calm and be respectful to each other.
Example, if something goes wrong, a Japanese manager might not point finger, but instead they focus on a solution to keep the peace. Basically, apologies are also common. Even if someone isn't really at fault, it's not about admitting guilty. It's about preserving respect and steady faces. This makes the work environment smoother and help keeps relationship intact.
That makes a lot of sense. But how do Japanese managers adapt when working with people from more different culture? Do they have their approach?
Well, you know what? Japanese managers are actually pretty adaptable. While they usually prefer indirect communication, they're also great at adjusting when they are working with people from culture who values directness.
And they stay calm and patient, but also they will make an effort to understand the other person's point of view. So if someone from a direct culture is being very straightforward, a Japanese manager might shift gears and communicate more explicitly, just to ensure things don't get misunderstood. They are good at balancing the needs of both cultures to keep the peace and still get things done.
In Japan, leadership isn't just about making decisions, it's about building consensus. That's where the concept of nemawashi comes from. Nemawashi means preparing the roots. Before making big decisions, Japanese leaders meet with team members individually, gathering input and understanding concerns. This method allows leaders to create a unified team. When the final decision is made, there's already support.
So, the initial process is a commitment to group harmony, carefully evaluation, and balance between collective input and hierarchical structure. So let's dive into how this process works and what businesses can learn from it. So the first section is the Ringisho process overview. To begin, the Ringisho is a formal document used to propose decisions or plans within an organization. It is more than just a piece of paperwork. It is a tool that facilitates communication, consultation, and consensus building across various departments or stakeholders. So, here is how it works. The first one is proposal circulation. When a decision needs to be made, a proposal is created and circulated among all relevant stakeholders, including various departments, heads, or managers. The second one is feedback and consultation. Each individual or department is encouraged to provide feedback, which can be in the form of written comments or suggestions. This is not an open debate, but a subtle, indirect form of communication. So, the next one is silent approval. The proposal is typically approved when stakeholders sign the document. If no one raises objection, it is assumed that everyone is in agreement. This silent approval is a key to maintaining harmony. So, for the last part, which is the final decision, once feedback is collected and all concerns are addressed, the proposal moves forward final approval. Importantly, while consensus is sought, senior leadership often has the final say, ensuring alignment with the organization's strategic goals. In Japan, group harmony is paramount. Decision-making tends to focus on minimizing confirmation and ensuring that everyone's voice is heard. Let me highlight a few critical aspects. So the first one is group-oriented process. Unlike in many Western organizations, where decisions may be made quickly by a single leader or small team, the Japanese approach takes a more measured, collective approach. Everyone has a say, which reduces the likelihood of conflict after the decision is made. The second one is avoidance of direct confrontation. In Japanese culture, often disagreement can disrupt harmony. As such, feedback tends to be indirect and dissent is often avoided. For example, if someone has an objection, they may present it as a concern or suggestion rather than outright opposition. The next one is respect for hierarchy. Where consensus is valued, the hierarchy still play a crucial role. Senior leaders help guide the group forward a decision and ensure that the final outcome aligns with the organization's vision. However, they avoid imposing their will directly, preferring to facilitate consensus. So, there are a few benefits of Ringisho, which is it can increase support and also give a better decision. So, this is because everyone gets to share their thoughts, so they are more likely to agree with and support with the final decision. And by getting input from many people, the decision is usually well thought out and includes different perspectives. However, there are also some challenges for Ringisho, which is it can be more slow because decisions need multiple rounds of feedback and approval. And another one, it is also can give a group pressure, which is people may hold back their true opinions to avoid conflict, which can lead to less creative or critical decisions. So, in conclusion, the Ringisho process reflects Japan's focus on harmony, teamwork, and careful decision-making. While it can be slow and sometimes lead to group pressure, it values inclusivity and respect for hierarchy. For businesses working with Japanese organizations, understanding this process is key. By encouraging open communication, balancing respect for authority with input from everyone, and being patient, you can make better, more supported decisions.
The unique communication styles found in Japan, focusing on both verbal and non-verbal cues. As we dive into this topic, it's important to understand that Japan is a culture with deep-rooted traditions, and their communication reflects a blend of respect, humility, and social harmony. Let's start with verbal communication. Japanese communication is often indirect and context-dependent. Unlike many Western cultures, where straightforwardness is often valued, Japanese people tend to be more subtle in their speech. The language itself has built-in levels of politeness, with different forms used based on the sociality, hierarchy, and the relationship between the speaker and the listener.
Politeness and formality in Japan. Addressing someone politely is of utmost importance. The use of honorifics such as san, which is Mr., Mrs., sama, a more formal honorific, or sensei for teachers or experts, reflects respect. The tone and word choice can also shift depending on whether you are speaking to a superior, a peer, or someone of lower status. The importance of silence. Silence plays a significant role in Japanese communication. It's not unusual for pauses to occur during conversations, allowing individuals to reflect on what has been said or to demonstrate respect and thoughtfulness. Silence can also convey a lack of agreement or discomfort in a subtle way. Avoiding direct no responses in Japanese culture, which is saying no directly, is often avoided. Instead, people might say it's a bit difficult or I'll think about it. which is polite way of indicating disagreement or a refusal. These indirect approaches help maintain harmony, prevent embarrassment or confrontation.
Now, let's look at non-verbal cues. Non-verbal communication is just as important, if not more so, than verbal communication in Japan. The way something is said is often more meaningful than the actual word used.
For non-verbal communication, body language is also important for Japanese people, which are generally reserved in their physical expressions. They tend to maintain a formal posture and avoid excessive gestures. Next is facial expressions. In Japan, facial expressions are often more restrained. While smiling is common, it can be used in a variety of situations, including when one is feeling embraced, uncomfortable, or even disagreeing. Understanding the context of the smile is crucial. Next is eye contact. Prolonged eye contact is generally avoided, especially when interacting with superiors or strangers. It can be seen as challenging or disrespectful. Instead, people tend to look down or to the side to show respect and deference. Gestures. Gestures in Japan are typically subtle. For example, pointing is often done with the whole hand or by subtly gesturing with the hand instead of using single finger. The bowing gesture, as mentioned earlier, is also a key aspect of non-verbal communication.
In conclusion, communication in Japan is deeply influenced by desire for harmony, respect, and social order. Verbal communication often employs indirectness, politeness, and subtle cues, while non-verbal communication focuses on maintaining personal boundaries, restraint, and respect. Understanding these styles is key to successfully navigating any social or business interactions in Japan.
Japan business culture is captivating blend of Asian tradition and cutting-edge innovation. By offering profound lessons for global commerce, its heart lies to paramount importance of relationship building, trust, and mutual respect are the bedrock of all negotiation. Communication is nuanced and often indirect, relying heavily on nonverbal cues to maintain harmony and avoid confrontation. The negotiation process exemplifies their consensus-driven decision-making, where proposals distribute among stakeholders for feedback. To ensure collective agreement while respecting hierarchy structure, this approach reflects a deep commitment to group cohesion, patience, and the preservation of peace, which is mensu in all interactions. These insights extremely are important in the broader international business context. Emphasizing relationship over transaction can foster trust and long-term partnership around the world. Understanding and adapting to diverse communication styles can balancing of directness with respect for nuance can prevent misunderstanding and enhance collaboration. Adopting element of consensus-based decision-making can lead to more inclusive and sustainable outcome, as the members feel acknowledged and committed. Overall, embracing cultural adaptability and sensitivity not only enrich business relationships but also create the way for innovation and success in increasingly interconnected world.